Black Maria is to carry criminals, trading looters that are in government today, not our poor people.
Will bring to you divergent views.
You know my position about his level of competence or otherwise.
News making the headlines.
I didn't go to school so that people can intimidate me with their ideas. No.
Sometimes it gets confrontation.
If you become governor, you're going to bring back Okada.
Of course.
You will bring back the market women back on the streets.
They don't put words into my mouth.
On Core Digest.
Stop making innuendos.
Every weekday. We'll bring all of these together and take them to the court of public opinion.
Everybody has the right in Nigeria.
Where you are the judge.
Welcome back. We just joined us. The program is Core Digest. So this morning we'll be looking at the challenges of governance, analyzing the issues. And I have with me in the studio this morning to look at many issues, both from corruption, the issue of insecurity, and many, many more. Analyzing this issue this morning is Chijioke Eze, a public affairs analyst. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you, Emmanuel.
Quite a long time having you on the show.
Yes, it's been some time.
Now let's start with the issue of corruption, the case of Lamido and Sons, Ikedio Hakim, and many others, Nyako and Son. What's your take on all this issue from the EFCC?
Well, it's not new to have former governors or former public officers being arrested or being quizzed, but it's the let's look at the prosecution process. It's not enough to arrest them or to come up with all kinds of charges. It's the efficacy. It's the entire process. At the end of the day, who's going to go down for what? The Nyanya bombing guy, at the end of the day, walked free. Now he's suing the government. What's his name? Timi Pre-Silva. After the entire, back and forth, today he's free. The court has set him free. So who's to say? Who knows what's going to come out of it? It's not enough to drag them through the mud or through the media and embarrass them. Who's going to go down for what at the end of the day? That's what's important. It's not about the media coverage or the sensation of being arrested and all.
Could we say that this is part of the anti-corruption charges of the president?
I wouldn't say it's part of it yet, because truth is, these are some of the governors who were arrested were there before. Some were arrested while Obasanjo was in power. Some were arrested when Yar'Adua was there. Some under Jonathan, and now it's Buhari. What would make sense is when the system under Buhari becomes more effective in arresting defaulting public officers. That's when we can attribute the success to him, because if at the end of the day these guys go scot-free, then what was the purpose of being arrested in the first place? So sometimes it's not enough to just say, oh, it's because Buhari is working. This is a process that had preceded his time. What we will attribute to Buhari is, at the end of the day, of the arrests that were made, how many people were convicted, legitimately convicted, I mean.
Yeah, part of the campaign of this current president is the fight against corruption and corrupt officers. Now, in the papers this morning we saw where it rejected to sign 400 million naira to purchase cars. Now, do you think with all these things, this present administration will be able to fight corruption in Nigeria?
I've always maintained that Buhari does not, in my honest opinion, does not have the requirements to fight today's corruption in Nigeria. The reason is, if he understands the dynamics of the constitution, of the separation of powers, basically, the judiciary, the legislature, and then the presidency, he has all the powers within the presidency. He can reject his salary for all he cares, but he cannot control a punctuation mark outside his purview. At the National Assembly, what can he control? Can he tell them to not exercise their legitimate rights, their constitutional rights, the things that are attributed to them by their offices? He can reject 400 million for his office, for the people who work for him. But can he do it outside that? No. Now, I would like to say that exercising the rights of an office or refusing to exercise the rights of an office is not exactly not pursuing corruption? I don't think so. If my office permits me 200 million naira worth of wardrobe allowance by the tenants that were there before me, and I choose it, it's my office. It's not corruption. But what I would call corruption is when the practice or the actions from that office have no backing whatsoever. They are illegitimate when you look at it from the standpoint of the office. They're illegitimate by the detailed powers, the registered powers of the office. Then you know that that's corruption.
Chijioke, I quite not agree with what your analysis this time around, because you said if your office, now looking at the cost of governance, he decided not to sign that 400 million naira because
Correct.
there are cars being used by the past administration.
Correct.
And he said signing this will just be amassing what you did not to amass for yourself.
Correct.
But you are saying if your own office allows you to sign such, you will do
Correct.
that. That's not corruption.
Now, this is why it's not corruption. It's very simple. The people who were there before and left, what were their powers? Is it in their letter of employment, or is it in the Constitution that you will drop everything you had? If it's there, what are the things you have to drop? What are the things you can take?
And when those things dropped are still very much in good shape,
then you take them. But the point is, let me give you an example. I'm a director and I'm entitled to take my car when I am leaving service and maybe pay a token to the government. And the auditors of that unit have audited it and given me a figure and have paid. I can walk away with it. It's that simple. It's a standard practice. If the government wants to retrieve it, they retrieve it. But if it's in my ranking, if it's part of the perks of my office, that if I'm interested in taking the car, I can pay the differential based on reevaluation from the auditors. I work with it, and then the next director can get a new car. We need to understand that certain perks are available to certain offices. And if it works that way, then there is hardly anything. You cannot go and arrest a man who's followed the letter, who's followed every letter of the law to say, I'm entitled to go in with this car if I choose to. And so I choose to. Then the car has to be reevaluated. If it was purchased at 10 million 2 years ago, and now after reevaluation it comes to 7 million, and we've agreed that this 7 million I'm going to pay you over the course of a period, and I'm going with the car, it's absolutely legitimate, and I'm going with it.
Well, I still have Chijioke is in the house this morning. We'll take a quick break and we're back with more. Do join us again.
On the day this as news breaks, people don't let events pass without giving their comment or reactions.
When the problem arises in society, these are the people that should be consulted.
To cleanse the corruption in society, we are not to provide information for good life and also security of life and property in this country.
The academic society have the loudest voice on this platform.
Whether you call it a sovereign national conference or a national conference, it is about the people of Nigeria.
There should be a change in power.
In any way they can do it.
I think there's a script already.
Every Tuesday at 8:45 p.m. on this station. From the Ivory Tower, a must-watch for the learning minds.
welcome back. We just joined us. The program is called Digest, and complimenting Chijioke Eze in the studio this morning is a politician, Folashade Olabanji. Good morning, madam.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, let me take you up on the issue we were discussing before madam came in. We're looking at the president refusing to sign the 400 million naira. And I told you that it's a step in fighting corruption, and you said no. Now, how do we lead by example if you are saying for him not signing it, it's not a step to fighting corruption in Nigeria?
I said that, and I maintain. This is why. The prevention of corruption or the fight against corruption is not just me saying, okay, I'm not going to be wasteful of resources. It is to ensure that those who have been in it are arrested, those who intend to be in it are curbed. There's the cease and desist part of it. If there are three of us here, and I choose to be corrupt, and you don't want to be corrupt, but your powers cannot stop me, or your powers do not even understand how to stop me, you're being prudent, but you're not exactly fighting corruption. Fighting corruption is you won't be corrupt, and you will ensure that the other people will not be corrupt. That's what I mean. So personal prudence is fantastic. It is good for the job. It is leadership by example. But personal prudence is not fighting corruption. It is probably showing people how to not be corrupt. But it is not enough to fight corruption. It cannot be enough to fight corruption. People who are corrupt must be prevented from exerting corruption. That is fighting corruption. And that's what I meant.
Folashade Olabanji, you had a submission. What's your take on that?
Well, I'm glad he said personal prudence. But for me, I think it's leadership also. It's accountability, it's responsibility. And in the president saying, I don't need to be wasteful, we need to cut down, even if we're not saying it's austere times, it's not so much business as usual. And one major way of doing that is reducing, like you said, the leakages. And so when you set the example as a leader, when you now go out and say you can't do this, it gives you a good standpoint to where you say, well, I've done it, so you can take a clue from it, and you definitely know that you have to follow just as such. Now, the control, like you said, it's a collective effort.
Correct.
Okay? It is a collective effort, but the awareness and sensitizing people that this is where we are now, and no pain, no gain. We all have to make sure that we have a Nigeria that is sustainable.
Correct.
For us all.
For our viewers, you can join us. The telephone lines will be on the screen. Let's have your comments on many issues that we're looking at on the program today. We're looking at the issue of corruption, the issue of insecurity in Nigeria, and many other issues. The phone lines are on your screen. Let's have your contribution. Now, let me take you up on the issue of insecurity in Nigeria. We see the minors coming up, blowing up people as suicide bombers. Now, what will you say concerning this new development in the country today?
The truth is, it's a personal opinion and it's a personal expectation. I'm personally disappointed in the president. Now, this is not a judgment or a condemnation of his government, no. But this is what I mean. He's an ex-general. He's had insurgency in his time to deal with. Yes, I know that there's a huge difference between the days of bows and arrows and the days of bombs and IEDs. I understand that. But as a general, and part of why we're having some of these challenges is for 10 years, president, as an ex-president or an ex-head of state at the time, had boycotted the security meeting, which all the ex-presidents and ex-heads of states and certain arms, heads of certain arms of government had attended. The only time he attended it was when the issue of the postponement of the elections were to be discussed. I don't think that he should have done that, because if he had been part of it, he would have had first-hand reports and then understood the dynamics, the changes between when he was head of state and today. Now, he's an ex-general also, means that his rapport with the military with the system should be a lot better than we had with Jonathan. With Jonathan, a lot of the things were new. Yes, at a point they became inexcusable under Jonathan. However, he is an ex-general. This Boko Haram menace is inherited. It's not new. It didn't start under him. So he had enough of time to prepare. And in between, you come and then you announce that you're taking soldiers away from roadblocks all over the north, all over the country. And at the end of the day, you revert to the status quo of bringing the soldiers back. I don't think that that's showing that he has a full grasp of it. I don't think so. And when he came in, he had no business not continuing in the stride that Jonathan had kept of constant barrage, constant bombardment of the Sambisa forest or wherever those insurgents were. He should have continued that way. He would have suppressed them.
Okay, but we saw that at the 6 weeks to the elections.
Yes.
That the soldiers were winning war against Boko Haram.
Correct.
And for the past 4 to 6 years of Jonathan's administration,
correct,
they weren't winning the war against
True.
Boko Haram. But you are now saying the present president hasn't done anything yet.
Now, the point I'm making is he should not have slowed down from what Jonathan laid down. He should have continued in that barrage. The reason is simple. When, if you're in a boxing match and you corner somebody you corner your opponent to any part of the ring, and you're throwing all of your punches, you don't slow down. Even when you hear the bell, you wait till the referee comes and, splits you apart. Why? Because one leakage in your defense and one punch, and the opponent takes the game. Boko Haram had been pushed to a certain point. When Buhari came in, if we continued in that regard, we won't have people. Now we have, the tally is what, close to 500. It's an average of 10 per day since Buhari became president.
Let me take you up, madam, on that issue. Do you think the president is quite slow in the fight against Boko Haram?
I'm a Nigerian, so I wouldn't want to really say Nigerians are all bad. But where I want to stand from is we had a president that was there for 6 years.
5 years, actually.
No, hold on. For crying out loud, please. This president has only been there barely 6 weeks, okay?
Correct.
And so we need to be careful on what we say and don't let emotions just override. Now, it's only a madman that would do business the way they used to do it and expect results. Now, the strategy, I'm glad you said he was an ex-general. Now, I'm not going to say I'm reading his mind or I know what his strategies are. Even if I do, I'm not going to say that out here publicly. But let's be real here. This man, since he has taken office, has barely rested for a day. What he first took on, is the security, okay? He's been out of the country, he's attended, and while he's doing that, we have a VP going within, to the trouble spots.
Correct.
Yeah? Now, taking out...
Just a moment. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Benue.
Benue. Your name, please. Emmanuel from Benue.
Okay.
Good morning. Let's have your comment.
Hello?
Let's have your comment, please.
Because I want to find out the issue about the government. The government that has I'm talking about the current government. Is Benue government not included?
Asking which of the Benue governors?
Which of the Benue governors now?
Yes.
Talking about the ex-governor, our governor.
All right. The former governor of Benue State. Well, that's left for EFCC to decide. Emmanuel, that's left for EFCC to decide.
Yeah.
We are not here to prosecute any governor. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Yeah, madam, you're making a point concerning the issue of security.
Yes, so, and I'm saying that for me, security also is collective, but we need to give our president. We have elected him. We know that he's got the capabilities to get us out of the mess that we're in now. We all need to, at least when you have a leader, you trust his judgment. If you know, like you're analyzing the ways you feel he can do things better. It is not to criticize. It is not to antagonize people, and get all these emotions to where, it sets us back, okay? For me, I think President Muhammadu Buhari is doing, when you consider the Herculean task that is really involved, he's doing an awesome job. When he took away the...
Madam, just a minute. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Solomon, calling from Benue.
Solomon from Benue State.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on Call Digest this morning.
Yeah.
Let's have your comments.
Hello?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, if we're talking about insecurity in the country that Buhari has not done it.
All right.
Yeah. Buhari has been there for just about something big. You're not expecting to start doing magic. It's not insecurity, but people are not the same. It's a wide network. That he has, if traveling around, traveling to help other countries. So I don't see any reason why the Nigerians would decide to think that he has not done because he will perform magical on that. That's not the issue. This is a fight, a collective fight that we have to join hands together. It's not a fight that we think today. The past administration has failed us, has failed Nigeria to study. So we have to start from Sunday. Our government has failed us, has left us. We have to start from the beginning, but do our own level to jump into it. But the issue of the young man criticizing the Buhari by this exploding is at work. It's not right.
Thank you very much. Yeah, madam.
Yeah, can I go back to the borders? Okay. What he did when he said the armies should all be taken away from the checkpoints was to say that we're expanding the borders, because when you know that what goes on in our neighborhood affects us in Nigeria. So it's now a collective effort of, the neighboring countries, Chad, Niger, and all those other countries, saying that let's just not think of just the borders within. Maybe if we extend it further, then we now have time to take care of the internal ones, okay? So it takes the pressure so much off of Nigeria, it extends it back to them. So, because that's where you see that a lot of this regrouping and all that, that's where it's taking place. As we speak now in Nigeria, there's really no part of Nigeria now that you're going to say is really under Boko Haram. Unlike what we had when GEJ was there, okay? So, and I'm not condemning, the past president either. I'm just saying, with due respect, we should allow this government to, the structure is very important. Some things need to be done to where, it's a process. It's got to be put in. Now, it might not be fast enough, considering that the lives of every Nigerian is very important, okay? And so, anybody will feel, oh God, another bombing, another this. Yes, but...
Folashade, let me just take you up on this particular issue of the BOG group that went to, the BBOG, that went to meet the president in the villa. That was on Monday. That's the Bring Back Our Girls group. Now, these girls, they've gone for 452 days now. Now, as a mother, are you still expectant that these girls will be brought back alive?
Definitely. As a mother, it really grieves my heart that they're still out there. And one of the things we did promise on the campaign was like, we will do whatever we can do to make sure we bring them alive. It's a key word. And you know, because of the time lapse that's in there now, it obviously makes it a little bit more tricky, but not to say that it's not going to be done. It is going to be done, but I mean, 452 days to a teenager, okay? Most times, some of them, they said, you know, they're pregnant, they're in different places. So, like the president said, I'm still very positive.
Because it was part of your campaign promises.
Yes.
That you will bring these girls back alive.
Yes, yes.
But now, at that same meeting, the president didn't give the assurance that those girls will be brought back alive.
I didn't hear him say they will not be brought back alive because they have not been proven dead yet.
Yeah, he didn't give the assurance that those girls will be brought back.
He said he will do everything possible, humanly possible.
Chijioke, let me have your take on this issue.
Okay.
I'm not going to fault the president. He's being realistic.
It's the truth.
The truth is, the first training you get as a policeman is to never give the assurance that you will solve a case that you do not have all the elements to. The president would not be wise to say, I will bring back the girls alive. I will, make this kind of promise. They're not realistic. Okay.
Just a moment, Chijioke. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Nneka. I'm calling from Onitsha.
Nneka from Onitsha. Thank you for joining us on Call Digest this morning.
That's cool.
Nneka, I think we lost that call.
Okay. The reason is the time between when they were kidnapped. And, okay, I'm not a security expert in any way, but I've interacted with some of these people. I went to a military school. I was raised by the military. The maximum period that you have for kidnap cases to make any kind of headway is 48. 24 hours, if you're unable to catch them, they're out of the immediate environment. 48 hours, they're out of the much wider environment. 72 hours, it would require a mistake in the plan to catch the people or to even stop the progress. And we're not talking 72 hours. We're no longer counting in hours. We're counting in hundreds of days. So the president hasn't done anything wrong in not assuring that he'll bring them back alive. There's a scenario people are looking at. I'm a father. I have a daughter. I have a son. And I can imagine that somebody has them captive. It's not conceivable to me. So I'm not going to fault the president in any way. But let's just paint this. At least 3 of these bombings have been carried out by teenage girls. Have you thought about the possibility of where these girls came from? Because they could jolly well be these Chibok girls. It's not something I want to think about. And that's why my personal distaste for the pace of the president with regards to security is this way. I am not angry. Okay.
Just a moment, Chijioke. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Rashid from Gabon.
Rashid from Gabon. Hello, Rashid. Rashid, could you please reduce the audio of your TV set? Thank you very much, Rashid. Could you please reduce the audio of your TV set because of feedback distortion?
Okay, it is done.
Thank you very much. You can go with your comments. Hello, Rashid. I think we lost that call.
Okay. The reason is this. Our president is not new to security. Our president is not new to the problem. And he inherited a bulk of challenges. Trust me, he's in the most unenviable position in the entire universe. I don't want to be the president of Nigeria right now. But then, you must rank your challenges. One of the requirements of a good leader is to prioritize what you have to do. You must rank your challenges. Security is number one.
Just a moment, good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Francis calling from Calabar.
Francis from Calabar. Thank you for joining us on Code Digest this morning.
Okay.
Let's have your comments.
What I want to say in terms of security. Hello?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah. From what the president said, in terms of when he was campaigning, he said something about having the Boko Haram in 2 months' time. And we Nigerians, if we are saying that he thought in terms of having that, we are not mistaken, because we are expecting changes by now, and there is no change.
Francis, we can hear you loud and clear. Go on with your comments.
Yeah, at least we expect change by now. But he said the situation is getting worse more and more. So I think we are not, we supposed to expect something by now, because it's part of his campaigning.
Thank you very much, Francis. Now, what Francis is saying there is saying he expects change by now. That is part of the campaign promises.
Well, he's allowed to expect change, but there are certain areas I don't even expect change in 4 years. And the truth is, people think I am just anti-government. No. In some areas, I am realistic enough to tell you that when it comes to the economy, when it comes to corruption, to curb corruption to a point where people can see it, it's going to take Buhari more than 4 years. And truth is, if by the second year, Buhari is doing those things that I expect, I will vote for Buhari if he turns up for a second term, if he's delivering on his promises. So far, he's not. Yes, I'm willing to give him time on every other thing except security. I'll give him time on the economy, I'll give him time on power, I'll give him time on everything, pretty much everything except security. The reason is, if we do not sort out security, we cannot grow. I'm not going to, I have, part of the things I do is foreign direct investments. I imagine going to tell somebody, come and invest in agriculture somewhere in the north. Why? Why would I want to do that? Because I know that there is no security there. Why would I want to bring anybody there? And even if I wanted to go and woo people to come there, what would happen? They would do their due diligence and find out. And let's not forget, this insurgency started in one small corner in Borno. And before we realized it, 14 local governments across how many states? Now we have bombs going off in Jos, Kaduna, Kano. This from
okay, just a moment. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Taufik. I'm calling from Osun State.
Taufik from Oshogbo, Osun State. Thank you for joining us on Code Digest this morning.
Yeah, welcome.
Let's have your comments.
Yeah, I've been getting your conversation before the NEPA individual stuff. So the other guy decided, please, we should stop, trying to blame the present government in terms of the security. So how they when he was saying that Buhari should have continued the way Jonathan has been doing it. The question I was asking is, what was the result? It became nothing. So when it comes to independence, they change their tactics. At the same time, we too equally have to change our tactics, so that we can be able to cut them off. But I believe, being a former general, you have to view anybody. Not willing to do is not for us to pray for him and let him complete. We should do like this thing. There's no fix the election before we start seeing something positive over Boko Haram. And I believe what's happening today, I so much about it, because Boko Haram was there. Jonathan was saying that Jonathan was saying Boko Haram. They will have veterans there and stay Boko
We can't hear you again.
Okay.
Taufik, thank you very much. Do please to call us back. You can give us more feedback on what we are analyzing here. Yeah, let me take you up on this issue of insurgency. Your party, as the APC, has promised that they will nip this thing in bud. Now, but before we do that, the TUC, the Nigerian Union of Teachers, went out to say that the president should please quicken up to stop this Boko Haram inboard. Now let's get the sound and track of that report, then I'll come back to you. You give your reaction.
Almost on a daily basis, which is indicative of the grim reality that the callous attacks and spree of bloodletting by the insurgents is still daunting. As teachers who are saddled with the responsibility of giving care and molding the character of children to become useful persons in the society, we feel pained and demoralized to note that the barbaric art of terror has sculptured and destroyed talents, potentials, and lives of our Chibok girls and thousands of other children in the northeast of Nigeria. It remains an unforgettable experience that over 19,000 teachers were displaced, while no fewer than 272 teachers lost their lives to the atrocious activities of Boko Haram only to Borno State.
With obstacles, we are breaking through. Nothing to regret so far, because that's what we signed to do.
When you look at in terms of welfare of teachers, not all over the country, most of the states in the country, we have recorded a lot of achievement in the area of our own field, and also in the area of development and welfare packages for our members.
Yeah, that was the sound on site about teachers. This was the aftermath of the Zaria bomb blast. Now, teachers are now calling over 19,000 teachers have been displaced due to this insurgency. What's your take on this, madam?
Very sad. But teachers are also Nigerians. And doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, everybody, we're all at risk here. But more importantly, because the future of our great nation depends on the labor force, the teachers especially, because they're the ones teaching our children. The future, probably the future presidents, governors, senators, also will be trained. So one teacher...
Well, actually, just a moment. Good morning. What's your name?
Rashid.
Okay, Rashid, you're back. Hello, Rashid.
As I was saying, that we should give this government a little bit time.
Okay.
Something out. When the federal government was doing it was fine. But now the Boko Haram has now they have another strategy of attacking the citizens. So we have to sit down and plan how to get them. I was saying yesterday that all our when we always gather church, even the stations that we take cars, how we always get them there. And that is the place people come in and blast. We're supposed to put things, that day of the security who comes in, who goes out. All these, motor parks, they come there and blast and go. But once you are the security being put in place to check people who comes out. And all these surrounding countries that surround the president, we went to this country telling them that they should come together and fight these people. Because when we fight them like this, as the former government did, we went back to those countries and try themselves and come back. So this, it should give them time and let them plan very well.
Thank you very much, Rashid.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Rashid from Gabon. Now, madam, go on with your comment.
So, I would say that the president really started on a good note. Like he said, security was number one, and it's still number one for us. And if you see all the moves, I'm going to say moves because there's so much going on, but Nigerians refuse to see it because they haven't seen the violence really drop, or actually an end to it.
Because it becomes day in and out. We keep seeing suicide bombing day in and out in Nigeria.
Yeah, but it's so many other things. Like, yesterday there was a situation of 11-year-old and 9-year-old that were giving 2,500, okay, to blow up themselves, okay. And those children probably had a change of heart, went on the street and wanted to sell those devices. They obviously didn't know what it was all about. Now, at that age, 2,500, it's a big deal. Why I say this is because there's so many other factors: unemployment, poverty, so many, ignorance most times. People are being brainwashed daily to say this, either this way or no way. Now, the government is very sensitive. They said they want to come and negotiate. Well, we're going to say we don't want to negotiate with terrorists, but we want to do everything possible to put a stop to this. It's a menace. So the teachers have a right to feel the way. I mean, I also feel very bad. In one day, they just won 37 teachers. But here, it's not just 37 teachers. You have to think Nigerians. One Nigerian, the life of one Nigerian, it's just as important. Then, so...
Just a moment, madam. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning.
What's...
Mr. Kelvin, calling from Nasarawa State.
Kelvin from Nasarawa State. Thank you very much for joining us on Call Digest this morning.
Okay.
Can we have your comment?
Okay. I want to throw my weight behind our president because when you look at the issue, he required a lot of challenges. And one thing we should realize is that there are so many things that need to be done. It is not something that we should rush into. Because it's not like building a house. When you are building a house, it's clear that the foundation takes more time than even the entire building. So I believe that if we give him a time, he will plan very well and not rush into issue. Because if you rush into issue, you discover that he will make a mistake that will be very costly. And when you are doing something and you make a mistake that is very costly, it will jeopardize the whole issue. So, but I still want to agree with the young man there who talks about security. Actually, in the issue of security, we expected him to do more than what we are seeing now. But other areas like issue of corruption and so many things, I think let's give him a time. And so that they will plan very well and will not make mistakes, because Nigeria is a very large country with many ethnic groups, with so many diverse people. Because there are things that you will do. If you are not careful, you will see that the other angle is criticizing you, and the other one angle is not agreeing with what we are doing. So what I'm saying is that let us be patient with him and also give him time so that we can plan very well and make this Nigeria better ahead. God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Calvin. Now, if you just wake up with that mentality and we pray for our country, Nigeria, and we wake up every morning, we say, God bless Nigeria, you think that will give us a better chance to save us from all these challenges?
Well,
let me take you up on that.
I believe in prayers. I pray, and I've always prayed for Nigeria. In fact, I think it was when I was in year 2, either year 2 or year 4, and I actually had this huge stacks of God bless Nigeria and then God bless Unilag, different stickers, and we went around Unilag. I went to Unilag, by the way. We went around Unilag pasting them.
You're trying to promote your school here.
well, anyway, we went around Unilag pasting it across, cars, buildings, and all of that. It's a mentality. I'm also a Catholic, and for a minimum of 20 years, we've been praying for Nigeria across all the Catholic churches in this country. I'm aware of that because I've said that prayer for a minimum of 20 years. It's the prayer against bribery and corruption in Nigeria, and then the other prayer, I can't remember the title now, but I believe in prayers and it's something we need to do. But there is this personal part of it. I don't pray against the demon that I can see. There can be a huge log across the road and I'm driving my car. And I get there and I'm praying that the log should get out of the road. Get out of your car. Take the bloody log, throw it off the road. Get into your car, continue your journey. There are things we will pray for. There are things we will do ourselves. One of the things that we do not need to pray for is to see what is going wrong and pray that it should stop. No, it's going wrong. You're contributing to it. Stop your act. The wrongdoing will stop. When it comes to corruption, recently my car got towed by LASMA because I parked at the wrong place. I didn't know it was the wrong place to park because I don't like to interact with LASMA. But I parked there. My car got towed. And then I got there. It was a human being. First, they came with all sorts of bills. And I said, listen, you're a human being like me. I don't use an ATM card. By this time, I can no longer go to the bank. So all I have is what I have. Who is the person here I can speak to? Maybe I can relate to this person to understand my unique situation. I am not saying I want to bribe anyone, but I need you to pardon me. But I need to speak to somebody who has the power to. So it's not a function of, hey, come to the corner, take this thing, go and help me sneak out my car. For God's sakes, it's a garage. But guess what? There are situations, and with all kudos, I don't know, his first name is all he told me, the last guy, his name is Jamiu at Surah. What this guy did was, Oga, all I can do is, because I saw that your car wasn't the only one, it's easy to be confused about whether you should park there. We can pardon you. Having towed your car to this point is a huge inconvenience, but there is no way you wouldn't pay a fine for at least the towing people.
Chijoke, just a moment. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Amikebo calling from Benue State.
Amikebo from Benue State. Thank you very much for joining us on Call Digest this morning.
Yes.
Let's have your comments.
Yes, I'm following what people are discussing there, and you guys are really making sense, especially the guy, the guy here. You see, what I have to, my input in what people are really are discussing there is this issue of security. You see, in as much as I am not a fan of the current president, but that doesn't stop me from wishing him well in whatever he's doing to bring about good governance in our country. But in terms of how we started, or where we are today, I can say that it is relatively slow in what, in his action. And because this is how the former president started, very slow in this manner. People call him so many names, such names like privilege and all that.
We would like you to use decent language. Please use decent language.
Yeah. Who are like using the same language on this on our present president now? And so it is good that people are coming up this way, and then let's see how far we go. And I pray that he performs well. Then coming, I can also say that based on what the guy said, that when he was in the last administration, whenever they called for all these former president meetings, he is not always there. It's now that he is president now, because of the fact that he was not president, he never knew what was happening or how to go about work, now. And so that is why it is slow. I think that is why it is slow to come to the reality of what is on ground now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amikebo. You are making a submission, but the question I want to ask you, madam, is that do you believe that the president is slow?
Of course not.
All right.
I think we need to be very careful. We need to see beyond these partisan lines and politicking or whatever. Okay? Slow. In fact, I don't even know, but the word is not even there. Not fast enough when you say relative to what is really going on. But that's what you see on the surface. There's so much going on, and the behind, that I know that very soon Nigerians would have trust in this presidency, And one thing I'm saying is, our attitude is very important. The attitude we have determines the altitude that we get. Let's not just be quick to say you're responsible and then go to sleep. Oh, Buhari is the, whatever. And so we all fold our arms and expect magic or miracle to happen. Okay? He said something about being a Catholic. I'm a Redeemer. Faith without works. You have your faith, but you also must help this, the government. And stop saying, okay, because this happened, that happened. Even from our neighborhood, even parenting, okay, because it's individuals that are perpetrating all these acts. And so, how we raise our children, their thought process, okay, their community, so everything goes into it, yeah, so that they are not easily penetrated as well. Now, you talk about the armed forces. It's not just only the armed forces. He was trying to say there's so much where they can be needed other than just on the road. Taking them off the road doesn't mean it doesn't have a job for them. It's putting them somewhere else where intelligence, they can be of better use. But then, when people were complaining that, there's nobody, guarding our immediate borders. Okay, so that's just palliative. But what it's still doing like beyond our borders. Because we realize that a lot of these things, they come into Nigeria, strike, and get back out. They know that, they can't stay in a community for long before they are being clamped down on. And so, I wouldn't say this has so much technique. Like I said, we're on TV.
But how do we get away from this quagmire? Because what we see now is about suicide bombings. It's coming up now. Young ladies, teenagers are being involved in all this. How do we get out of all that before we go to the next issue?
Truth is, one of the things that they need to do up north is to mop up homeless people and miscreants. Now, this sounds brutal, but we're in a situation where we don't have so much room to play in. I'll tell you what, when you find people roaming the streets, they roam today, they roam tomorrow.
Because in that part of the north, we have them as Almajiris.
Yeah, but thank God, one of the few things that Jonathan did for the Almajiris was to build, according to reports, 125 schools. So one of the things that this present government can do is to put these people in those schools. It's one thing to have them in the classroom. It's another thing to learn. That's not what we're talking about. But when we, extricate them from open areas and put them in closed areas where they are easy to monitor.
Just a moment, okay. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Oluka. I'm calling from Texas State.
Your name again, please. Hello?
Hello?
Your name again, please.
Oluka. Calling from Texas State.
Oluka from Delta State. Thank you very much for joining us on Call Digest this morning.
Yes, the program is interesting.
Thank you very much.
Hello?
We can hear you loud and clear. Let's have your comments.
Yes, the president, I don't know, is getting too slow. We are getting set up and disappointed. Because for a man who has been there before as the head of state, military head of state, and has contested for the position of the president for close to 15 years now, should have had a blueprint of what to do. And immediately you come in, you kick off. There are certain things that are excusable. But the issue of the insurgency, I don't think it's excusable. Having a military background, and having been witnessing it, having been seen, even he was a victim of their past, we should have known what to do. We cannot be so patient with this thing. Within just barely 30 days in office, we have lost over 500 Nigerians. And the thing is still going on. We have to do something. It is slow. It is slow. Before you know, this thing will spread. Even worse than it has been before. Let's keep the ground rolling. It's terrible. It's terrible. Every day you hear attacks here and there. And the can't deny that he didn't do so. And the next day, the conclusion that it is so.
Thank you very much, Oluka.
They have to have people so that have the ministers in place so that they can be coordinating this thing.
Oluka, thank you very much for your comments on Core Digest this morning. Chijoke.
Yes. I was saying that they should put these people in the schools. The reason is, I remember there was a time in Lagos when it was past government, not Ambody. I'm not even sure it was a bit of Fashola, but when children were found loitering, they will be picked up. And all the people who would pick you up needed to do was ask where you live. You know, when they found all of those details, they would go home, to your home, and arrest or invite somebody, maybe a father, a mother, a guardian, whoever. Now, there are schools where these people can go to. If you reduce street hawking, if you reduce perambulating, aimless walking of these people and just put them in these schools, there won't be the opportunity for a lot of this miscreants to meet with the insurgents and have that interaction. That's one. Two, then when you find somebody loitering in the streets, it's easy to track the person. I'll give you an example. When these guys tie these things around themselves, they are often big physically when you look at them. So when you see somebody and maybe this person is supposed to be a 10-year-old and the person is looking really fat in the stomach but tiny in the head, you know there's something underneath the clothes. So it's easy to track. This I'm not saying that it's as easy as I'm saying it, but when you reduce the possibilities, when you reduce the chances of them even having interactions, you would eventually reduce the number of young people who are being used for this. Another point is...
Okay, just a moment. Good morning. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Ike. I'm calling from Boko Benefit.
IK from Benue State. Thank you very much for joining us on Core Digest this morning. IK, let's have your comment. Could you please reduce the audio of your TV set?
Okay. My contribution.
We can hear. Please reduce it, please.
My contribution is this. You know, you can hear me now.
Loud and clear.
You can hear me now.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. And we all remember that President Buhari said that they don't need to consult any neighboring state to eliminate Boko Haram. And the Navy here as an office, he told us that other 2 weeks is there to eliminate them all. Now we are in 2 months, nothing happened. Again, we all are aware that when Jonathan was ruling, he promised Jonathan that he's going to make North ungovernable for him.
No, he didn't. He didn't say that.
And the
IK.
In my mind, maybe President Buhari, maybe the contract he has with the Boko Haram, maybe is more than 4 years. So
I can get your fact clear. The current president didn't say that. That's not right.
That's wrong.
But he said that he's going to make government governable.
You didn't get your fact clear, please, IK.
So what I'm saying, I'm speaking with Mr. President. Let him do everything possible. And I agree with that young man there. What he's making a very good point. Why would have continued with the bombardment in some different forests to make that area free of Boko Haram? Then, I think they may continue. We will have a feel of all these things now.
Thank you very much, IK. Thank you very much. Yeah, Chijoke. Let me before I get to you, let him just round off his own submission.
Yeah, I think they should reduce the possibility of interaction between the youth and the insurgents. That's one. That's by maximizing the value of these Almajiri schools. Put that aside. Secondly, I would just want to quickly point there that even as somebody who didn't like to vote for Buhari, who didn't think Buhari had anything to do, I did a personal research and I didn't find anywhere online or in print where that statement that he would make Nigeria ungovernable was attributed to Buhari. I may not like Buhari, not as a person, I mean as his leadership style. I may not like him, but I do not think my distaste for him would make me permit somebody to slander him in such a way. It is false, it is wrong, and anybody who has that mindset should please desist from it. The current president never said he would make the country ungovernable for the ex-president. So please, this is a message to all of Nigeria. We need to get out of that mindset and get into working together. Now, working together does not mean we all must be on the same side. We can criticize as we progress, but please do not come up with such detrimental criticisms because they are negative and they are bad for the progress of this country.
Now, let me just take you up on the relocation of detainees, Boko Haram detainees to the prison in Anambra State. These people are afraid of a jailbreak. What's your take on that, Madam?
Well, in the first place, I think there was something wrong with the way the information got out. It shouldn't have been out in the first place. Now, it says something about our system. A lot of the problems that we have now are inherited. I'm going to say that again. And we need to be just careful about the way we approach them. You know, if you look, the governors, you know, the first thing about 18 state governors was doing was 8 months unpaid salaries. And we're not even dealing with unemployment yet. They were carried overs. As at the last time I checked, this government is not yet 2 months. So you're blaming this government for so much of what was carried over. Yes, it's going to be resolved, but you've got to give it time and help us here. Now, the detainees, when I found out, I'd been there since 2012, when all these things had been. Now, somebody is using this just to excite people and create some kind of anxiety. Because, yes, you're saying, oh, you cannot bring them to Imo, you cannot bring them to Anambra, you can, because they are from the north. The problem of the north stays in the north. The problem of the south.
But these people are afraid of a jailbreak. We had jailbreak in Ekiti and some other states.
And so,
do you think that will bring more insurgency in that particular area?
Well, the intelligence, and I said certain things I really wanted to say here. The intelligence, it's a little bit faulty here, because if you have detainees in a place, and almost everybody in Nigeria knows that they are there, there's an issue. Okay? These are big time, and I'm going to say big time, highly sensitive cases. Okay? That they're not like your norms. In America, you would have them in places where, nobody, and I mean nobody, would be able to say where and where they are. That's why they built up places like Guantanamo Bay, like far away from anybody's reach. That is also being looked at by this present government. But then, this structure we met on ground. Now, saying because you are Igbo, Yoruba, and Hausa, then, we shouldn't well up all that emotions. First and foremost, we are Nigerians. And we should see beyond that ethnicity lines, or say because one area has a problem. When one has problem, we all have that problem. That should be the mindset of Nigerians. And we should be careful because, we had the Niger Delta issue. It was a Muslim that gave them amnesty. And it was resolved. They didn't say, don't.
Just a moment, Folasha Dioba. Good morning, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Pastor Emmanuel. I'm calling from Eket in Akwa Ibom.
Pastor Emmanuel from Eket, Akwa Ibom. Thank you very much for joining us on Code Digest this morning. Emmanuel, could you please reduce the audio of your TV set, please?
Yes, I've done that already, and I do that okay.
Let's have your comments.
Since you are really talking today so much about security issues, I want to first of all ask a question. What is the meaning, what is the implication of state of emergency? We have had state of emergency in some areas for a while. Have these states experienced any improvement in the security? I am not a security specialist, but I was thinking that state of emergency implies that those areas will be completely safe, except that it will be safe under the influence and the activities of military or security personnel. That is number one. Number two, these military roadblocks that have been stopped, is it also in the areas that we have security concerns? And if they are, without being a military man, I will be worried about that. Number three, our present head of state is a military man, or has been. So I expect that he should swing into action immediately. It should not be like corruption issues or NEPA issues. This one should not take forever. It should just take within 48 hours. You can see immediate changes in security issues. So I think we should call a spade a spade. We have not been fast on that issue. Okay?
Thank you very much, Emmanuel.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, let me take you up on that issue. We've had the issue of state of emergency in the past. Has there been any improvement in those states? And the issue of the checkpoints.
The truth is, when the state of emergency thing started effectively, it was a bit political. It was more like somebody trying to show his power over the governor of the state, or, you know, trying to show that, hey, if I want to do whatever, I can do it. And, you know, precedence often has a terrible, let me not use the word terrible, has an overwhelming effect on the future, because it wasn't properly used the first time. Subsequent times when states of emergencies were declared, it still wasn't effectively used. When you declare a state of emergency and you impose curfews, what kind of curfews do you impose? And when the curfews are in place, let's say you have a dusk till dawn or a 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. curfew. Between 6 p.m. and the next 6 a.m., what really goes on? It's not enough to say no movement where you can see. You have to have adequate security. If I were to impose a state of emergency on any area and I needed 10,000 troops to be there, my 10,000 troops would be in the system before I declare the state of emergency. I won't declare a state of emergency before the troops would arrive, or before all of the troops I require would arrive. That's what I'm saying. That's one. Two, why these things haven't been so effective is that they are often targeted. Let me give you a small example. In Kaduna, when they had the religious crisis, the Christians versus the Muslims, it was a bunch of things, because you have some tribes, some villages that had Christians and Muslims. Do you understand what I'm saying? And they were members of the same family. I just preferred Christianity to Islam, or you preferred Islam to Christianity. And you have a state of emergency in that area. Now, Christians and Muslims are maybe fighting in the metropolis or in town. But in this village, we're still exchanging spoons and cutleries. We're asking each other for salt and Maggi. But then, it's not, the people in town are not, you find the person who's effecting it. I'm a soldier from Anambra State, and you send me to Kaduna to go. You're not sending me to the south, where there are Christians, where I'm supposed to be lenient. You send me to the north. I get to that point. I'm not looking at these people as people I have any responsibility to. Do you understand the thing? Because I feel a detachment from them. I'm not even interested in their security. I'm just interested in anybody who breaks the law so I can shoot him dead. And I claim that that's the order that I have. And then you send maybe a soldier who's from the north, who's a Muslim, to the south. And he comes there with the same sentiment. But if the people are properly oriented, that's the soldiers themselves, and you send them there, and they understand that the sanctity of life is more important than anything else. So you send a Christian to where Christians are. He will have the leniency of the same religion. Do you understand it? So, hey, I don't intend to shoot you. I don't want to kill you. But please, you need to maintain order. Then you send the Muslim...
Chijioke, let me just put it to you.
Yes.
I just need a straight answer. In those states that we had the state of emergency, has there been any improvement in those states?
No.
Thank you very much. Now, the checkpoints made by the president said there shouldn't be any checkpoint again. Now, despite that, do you think with that this issue of Boko Haram who be nipping.
No, first
let me take Madam on that.
Okay.
What is the question again?
The checkpoints being cleared off by the president. Do you think with that Boko Haram will be nipping the bud?
Well, only that would not nip it in the bud. It was just part of the package of the strategy that he had laid out to curb, the insurgents, saying that the military are better used somewhere else. So much have been put into our military forces, and so we need them better equipped, in doing better work, not just within. Because most times, if you look at the way the Boko Haram have been operating anyway, when they see the checkpoint, they don't even go near it like that. They could go to places where they know people are really handicapped and take them by surprise.
Let's just go to, before we round off now, let's just look at this issue, the crisis rocking the National Assembly. Are you guys surprised with the recent happenings in the National Assembly? Fola Shadiema?
No.
When are we seeing an end to all this?
Very soon. And I'm really serious about that. Very soon. And I think Nigerians just like excitement, let me put it that way. Things are being blown out of proportion. Now, there's beauty in diversity. This is the best of Nigeria. Just a moment.
Together. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello, we can't hear you clearly. Go on, please.
When I said the best of Nigeria, I'm talking about the different parties that came together to form APC. I'm going to talk about APC. And then a lot of them also came from the other parties. So, you've got individuals that, everybody in their own right worth celebrating. And so, merging them together, you're bound to have, different interests here and there. But it's not anything that we can not take care in the home front. But then the politics is, people like to blow out your weaknesses well above your strength. And that is what is going on here now, because the opposition party feel, oh yes, you got them, see, and it's not right, it's not healthy for us.
Chijoke, let me just take you up on that issue, the NAS crisis. in just 1 minute.
Yeah, she almost sounds like she's appealing to us to, be lenient with APC. But this is the thing, no, I'm not going to be lenient with APC. Okay. And it's not because I intend to just want to criticize for the heck of it. But APC is a wall made from flour, not made from concrete. And the reason is, I'll detail 2 or 3 points so that you understand very quickly. APC is an amalgamation of different parties. Different parties, different interests. Different interests means that there are people feeding these different interests from different places. Now, one of the things you don't want to talk about in a place like this is party supremacy. The origin of APC is from the Southwest, from AD to AC to ACN, and then eventually APC. Now, there is John Odige Oyegun, who's the national chairman. There is the president today, President Muhammadu Buhari, who's the president of the country from the party. And then there is Tinubu, who is given the title of national leader. I don't understand the place of national leader when you have a chairman. Now, APC has still not successfully broken out of that Tinubu party syndrome. And when you have certain interests who have no sense of allegiance to Tinubu, who have never had any interaction beyond the merger of these parties to Tinubu, do you understand? And you want them to align with his principles, it won't work. Another thing you don't want to do is discuss party supremacy where the constitution is. I'll give you a small example.
Because of time, you just have to round up.
Yeah, that's right.
Just 1 minute, let me just have your final submission on that issue. Just 1 minute.
Yes, the problem with the National Assembly is with upholding party supremacy. It's the constitution that you should discuss at the National Assembly, not party supremacy. People, yes, on the streets. There's a separate language for it. APC was snookered by APC. Some people put out their
30
interest.
more seconds so that
yes,
I can get
they put out their interest. If you step down your party supremacy, you'll be able to attract more people, more interest to come together to the center and finalize this issue.
Do you believe in that?
No.
And what's your take?
My take is whatever is going on now, we will definitely grow bigger, better, way beyond this, and we will come out better.
Well, I must say, gentlemen, thank you very much for coming on the show this morning. Thank you very much, Fola Shadioba. I've been speaking with Fola Shadioba. She's a politician, precisely from the APC camp. and
I don't have any apologies for that.
That's it.
You shouldn't.
No, and I have Chijoke Eze, public affairs analyst. Thank you very much for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you.
We pray the labor of our hero spouse shall never be in vain. Let's have the unity in diversity until we come again with another inspiring episode of Core Digest next week. Keep a date with Core TV News. I remain your host, Emmanuel Ajayi. Bye for now.
You can now watch Core TV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to Core TV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click Core TV, leave a space, then News. Core TV News, a 24-hour news station.